All right, so let's get into some different stuff. I've been doing a lot of research. I'm a UFO guy. Everybody knows I'm a UFO guy. Now it's called UAP, Unidentified Aerial Phenomenon. I wanted to talk about this because everybody else is starting to open up the discussion. I personally obviously believe in extraterrestrial life. I obviously believe in afterlife stuff, paranormal stuff. I've had experience with spirits and strange phenomenon. I've always wanted to tell people and the world my experiences with strange phenomenon. Now is the time to start talking about that kind of stuff. When I was a child, I'm going to get really deep, and a lot of people are going to be like, oh, this guy is nuts. Well, guess what? I love aliens. Aliens are my friends, all of them. Well, I don't know, except for the hostiles. But we're going to get into that later. The friends, the neutrals, and the hostiles. So the news is starting to talk about UFOs or UAPs. And I've been a believer in since I was a child. When I was a very, very small child, I guess you could be about 7 or 8. And this is still to this, I'm 50 now. Oh my God, half a century old. And I vividly remember a strange experience off of La Tuna Canyon Road in Sun Valley, California, where I was growing up. Here it goes. Here comes the honest truth. You're going to hear a lot of truth from Rik Marston coming soon, so here it goes. I'm going to let it out the line. Musician talks about alien abductions, alien visitations. I don't think it would be considered an abduction. I guess that's what they call it. Anyways, so when I was a child, I remember getting tucked in. My sister and I were sharing the room at the time, because we were both very young. And I remember after being tucked in about an hour, I couldn't sleep, but I was rolling around. I remember hearing a noise outside the patio, outside our window, the bedroom window. At the time, my father and mother owned a kennel, a dog kennel, and was running that at the time. And I remember at nighttime, my dad would walk the dogs and change them to different runs in different areas at night, just to keep things up and keep things new for the animals, so they were never bored or sad or anything when they were visiting. But late night, I would hear my dad do the changing of the runs. That night that I remember when I was a child, I heard a sound outside the window, and it sounded like a rustling noise and little pitter patters and stuff like that on the patio tiles that were outside. They were kind of a brick tile that was outside on the patio. And I remember after hearing that, I had a rush of fear. It wasn't normal. And directly after that, in the corner of the room, there were amber lights, literally in the top right-hand corner, that came down like this, shimmering white and amber lights that came down and came up like a swarm of bees or fireflies. And at the time, I've never seen fireflies. In California, where I was living, there were no fireflies. We had praying mantises, but we didn't have no fireflies. This swarm of light slowly came over to the bed towards me and came over the bed and started to come over me. And I was a small child freaking out. And I remember just being petrified by these beautiful amber white-ish glowing lights that were coming right at me over my bed, not my sister. She had a small bed over to the side of me, and she was out, totally out. So the lights came over me. I put the blankets directly over my face, freaking out, okay? And then all of a sudden I hear, it's like a buzzing sound, or like the sound of a beehive going, that kind of sound. I pulled the blankets down over my face, and all I saw were two giant, and I'm not joking, two giant bee heads looking right at me, like two giant heads with giant black eyes, almond shaped, just looking right at my face. They were so close at my face, they were like this. And I screamed bloody murder. And I pulled the blanket directly over my face, and I know I was just like, screaming. And the moment that happened, under the covers, in the darkness, was like somebody turned on a flashlight and went bing right in my face. Okay? And I blacked out. I don't remember anything after that. I remember asking my mom Was daddy changing the dogs out late last night, in the runs? She's like, you probably did, but it was probably earlier. It wasn't when after, yeah. I'll never forget that. They had giant, solid black eyes. Like if you were to take a close-up picture of a bee and just go in your face, there were two of them. I, for that moment on, had the most incredible, insane fear of bees and wasps. And that went up to about my 20s when I started really getting deeper into the investigation or self-investigation of what happened when I was a kid. I've been studying UFOs and UFO lore all my life. I remember going to the Burbank Library and studying old school books about Barney and Betty Hill, the Roswell crash, disc recoveries, stuff like that, all these different stuff. And I never put myself into the UFO or abduction thing, right? Second experience I had, my family was out visiting Grand Junction. We were on our way to Denver. We had stopped off in a beautiful motel, which was a 2-story motel. We were on the second floor, and I heard the very same sounds that I heard the very first time I had in my experience. So the pitter-pattering outside the door of the motel. I don't remember anything that happened after that. I just remember that it was the same thing, and the terror that came over me when that happened with my mom and dad in one bed and my sister and I in another. That freaked me out real bad. I had an encounter when I was a teenager. I was recovering from chickenpox. And as a teenager, it's kind of dangerous to get chickenpox later. So I was really sick. And I knew I was on my recovery, I guess, because I was feeling a little bit better, I was coming back. And I had been sleeping on my side, and I turned over, and all of a sudden, our maid was like, Riki, is there anything I can get you before I leave? And she had the most beautiful Latin accent, because I love Hispanic people and I love Spanish. It's such a beautiful language. She goes, Riki? And I was like, oh, that's so cool. I said, no, I was on my side. I was like, no, I'm okay. Thank you. Appreciate it. And she turned and she left. And I said, wait a minute, we don't have a maid. What's going on here? And I turn around and I get up and I run out the room and I try to chase this woman who's just left the room. There was nobody there. There wasn't a soul there. I was alone the entire time. Here's the thing. It wasn't a human being that was standing there after I think about it. It looked human. She looked like a shorter Latin lady. She was a little bit larger in size. She had large black eyes and very large, oversized lips. Now, I mean that in the sense of the British kind of style, the funny kind of spit and image kind of thing, where they were doing like the characters of actors and musicians with the big lips, big heads. They like exaggerated certain things in their faces and their heads and hair, whatever. This lady had giant black eyes and a humongous Pink Floyd kind of looking lips, real mutated looking lips. And I remember that. We never had any help at the house. We never had maids or anything like that. So was my consciousness waking up at the end of an abduction? Was this the last time that they were visiting me? Because I have never seen anything or had any experiences like that ever since then. That was like 1986, I think. She had black, solid eyes, but she was a Latin woman. Dark black hair, short dark black hair, very beautiful olive dark colored skin. She was attractive, but she had giant lips. They were really out there, and these massive black eyes. So maybe their psychic power was trying to cover themselves and cloak themselves as a human, but it didn't completely finish their cloak, because I could see that it wasn't. I'll never forget these things. And these were not times when I was doing drugs, especially when I was a small child. I remember those things. My sister, I love you, Rose, you're the bomb. She remembers having vivid waking daydreams, waking up, seeing me being taken by the hand into a UFO. So I know I've had experiences with them. I've seen things in the sky, many things in the sky. I've filmed them. You might see some of my videos on YouTube. But those are my personal experiences. And I don't want to judge and say that everything is this, that, or it could have been or couldn't have been a hallucination or a dream. I accept those things. They could have been dreams. They could have been hallucinations. But for a person who's never seen a gray alien before, or the ideas of those things, I don't know where those things would have just come up naturally, or dreams like that, because I didn't have phobias for bees or wasps in those days when I was a child. I was very into insects at the time. And of course it could have been just a dream. And I have no problem with that. But at the same time, with all that stuff that's coming out of the government and all the stuff that people are telling, really admitting that they've had experiences with visitors before, it's time for people to start talking about their stuff. And here I am telling you about mine. And I really appreciate you guys, and I thank you for listening to this. And I hope this opens up a discussion about your experiences. Put them down in the comments. If you've had experience, if you've seen a UAP or a UFO or had experiences with visitors, I want to hear about it. I know this is not technically the channel for it. I don't consider myself a paranormal channel, but I'm definitely going to start talking to you guys more about what's going on nowadays. Because if the news is talking about UAPs and the government might release something, I'm down. I've seen them. I've experienced some weird stuff, and I asked for them to come to visit me because I want to be their friends. I would love to be a diplomat for the extraterrestrial races or the interdimensionals. And remember, if these things are UFOs from another planet, spaceships from another planet, we have got to befriend them. We can't shoot at them, so be nice, okay? If they are our, if it is Russia or China or another country, the Austin Powers evil kind of villain has special technology thing, well, we'll find out, Spectre's out there, right? Hail Hydra, right? We don't know. It could be a third party power, but it also could be, like we were saying, it could be extraterrestrials visiting right now. And that's really, really cool, because I totally think now is the time. It's 2021. Let's do this, people. But then again, people are saying, hey, this might be people from the future coming to visit us. That is a really cool concept. What if these beings are us from the future saying, hey, you need to do something right now before something happens? Well, heck, maybe we should do something. So let's go get the let's go get the welcome wagon out and go out to the ocean and try to meet them off the coast of San Diego, or if those are the places where they're starting to really show, let's start getting some people out there and try to befriend these strange lights that are flying around. Let's go out there and try to do the Dr. Stephen Greer CE5 thing. Try to use your meditation and your spirituality. Now's the time to send those signals of friendship out. Music is another way to do it. I'm doing it with my synthesizers. Okay, can we do the hand things? Okay, you guys know the CE5 Close Encounters of the Third Kind hand thing, the aliens. Ready? Do it. Love you guys. Peace and respect. I'll talk to you all very soon. I've got a lot more videos coming, a lot more discussions, a lot more about me. I'm going to start talking to you about honesty and telling you things about me that I've never revealed before. So keep in touch, like, share, and subscribe. And I love you very much. Peace and respect. I'll talk to you all soon. Bye.